wrong in my life. By all those around, I am perceived as having no longer any opinion, except to contradict my ills and remind me of my faults. There is no reason to speak to me, nor any reason to spare me. As I am erased away by the rain, they are watching me drown. Now they all have fleeing eyes. No one pities me any longer. The next one is also a poem that was originally written in French. It was written on my birthday, the 29th of January 2019. It's called The Tree. The seed sowed in the fields germinates to take root by the passing days fascinated. A sprout will become in its own time the tree that will cover with its shadow the earth. Period of peace and war will be lost over the seasons. When everything will be fulfilled, people will lie down beneath each tree. It will grow in bad days as well as when all goes well. It will be the first to stand among the flowers, the only tree. It will be the last standing, alone in the middle of the rubbles. This third one was also written in French and now is translated in English. I hope you still hang on with the poetry. I know it can be a little bit tiresome. This is a very romantic poem I wrote a long time ago for someone I had forgotten. It's called In the Realm of My Dreams. With my lips I will call the moon. If from your tongue you would pluck the sun, I'll wait for you on the dunes of the dream world during your sleep, always hoping to meet you in the mist. I will wait for you constantly until you wake, and I will keep my bitterness to myself. Oh, every night without you will always be the same. If I adored you without you loving me. In my eyes there could be no tiara, no necklace, no ring or gem pretty enough to offer you, because nothing is comparable to your smile, your butterfly eyes, and your rosy cheeks. During my sleep, I stay awake, and alone, lost in these distant thoughts, I dream of a few uncertain words. Third one, still written in English, a long time ago. This is an ode to the moon. Serene Celine, matron of our poem and queen of our painful joys and in love with our sorrows, you console us and give us the word that inspire us, so that us, poet, can write a few rhymes to you. If you had been a woman, I would have been your slave. If you had been the sea, I would have been a wreck. But instead, you are prisoner of the firmament, and you have to listen to each one of my painful torment. Infuse me with your thoughts through the breath of your voice, and make me from your astral court the sovereign and king, so that by my poems I also could share this serenity that makes me feel so old. This will be another one of those romantic poems I wrote. It is called I Dream of You. I dream of being in your arms, and you telling me with your lovely voice how much you love me and adore me in you. I dream of caressing your silk skin, and that I'd lose my fingers in your hair. I dream that you are my queen and I'm your king, that in each other you are me and I'm you. I dream to see in your eyes this joy who invades me, body and soul, each time our eyes make contact and drowns me with emotions. I dream and think 1,000 times of you, and dream that you too are thinking of me. So the next poem is called Advice to the Lovers. It's a pretty simple poem. It's just encourages people to let the emotion flow. Never hesitate to tell affection that gives size to your heart. There are few secrets that are worse than affection that is repressed. If you love someone, tell that to your love. Hence, it is possible that a secret revealed unleashes a truth to your rescue, and that your beloved runs to you. Do not restrain your feelings from your heart, and never think of lying to yourself. Neither deny yourself the love of these days, as you always know what you truly feel. So now I will be moving on to poems that are a little bit more dark. Darker poem. His Screen is my YouTube channel. Cordell is my nickname everywhere, and I write poetry, just so you know. There you go. 19th February. Prey and Hunter. One can only run so long prior hiding. One can hide so long before being found. As a conclusion, there will be fighting. That's why one should always choose battlegrounds. There is no hiding from being hunted, as prey and hunters are one of the same. Eventually, one has to confront their own enemies and play the game. Defeat is acceptable with survival. Sustenance is essential to living. Safety is crucial for revival. Even when foes act and forgiving. So I will give you a few instances to digest this, and yes, I will take a couple of minutes. Be right back. Okay, here we are back. So, to continue the reading. The next poem is a poem I wrote about the irony of the fact that we feel we are so important and way more important than anything else, while really, well, let's admit it, we are pretty much nothing, in the grand scale of things at least. It was written on the 19th February 2017, and this poem is called I'm So Important. The nature of things doesn't exist, or sentience itself is an illusion. Nature that created us can't persist under the pressure of our confusion. We pretend that we are more than we are. We call for individuality, rents, and freedom. But no matter how far we end, there's always a finality. Our sentience is a mistake from nature. We pretend to be oh so important that we need to justify your failure, and how easily all is forgotten. By accepting in our heart the deceit that for some reason we are more important, that we do not depend of our heartbeat, that to me everything is in accordance, that for some reason all crimes are destined, that God is always looking out for us for some greater reason, that I'm predestined when really my sentience is superfluous. Yes. So the next poem is called Time is Meaningless, and it basically talks about how time can be relative, and the consequences also of it. It was written on the 22nd February 2017, and its title is Time is Meaningless. Seconds are like minutes, they are like hours. Hours are like days, that are like weeks and months. They have a way to unleash their powers and race through months to years in front. 1 second can last an eternity, not only in causality ripples, but also in moral infirmity, or even as physically crippled. Years can be like a second, forever stuck on time arrow from my pocket's watch, while all my life could fill a garbage truck, and life itself is drownings from Rorschach. In the end, seconds are part of the void. Soon, years can be decades and centuries, and that ending's grip can't be avoided. Life itself is our penitentiary. Or death is not really liberation. The knowledge that every person we love will suffer from life and death's rotation is a reminder of what we get rid of. When what we get rid of is our own self, by lying to the point of believing anything that comes from bookshelf. Any seconds and any words can be deceiving. Friday, 24th February 2017. Exile. Every little part of my soul has crumbled, like a ruined temple from forgotten times, from full construction to walls in rubbles. The fire that torched it was not a crime. My mind itself has gone to the dark void. I watch the emptiness surrounds me. My spirit was plaything with which I toyed until the arrival of the banshee. No, life's a series of Polaroid filled up with ghosts with no hope of escape. I feel the pain like hemorrhoid, and the dizziness like a syncope. All that I was the sum of my past. My past gone, there's nothing left of me. 1 single second is left unsurpassed, one that burns away my family tree. First, take away my future, then my past. When that is done, leave me for death's desire. She will take care of it all. If outcast by all the ones I knew before the fire, then the fate will even be worse than death, as there is nothing worse than be exiled, like I was no one from my own homestead. Pretty soon, everyone will be hostile. I will do a 2 minutes pause. Be right back. The strain of the pressure broke us up eventually. I wrote it on the 27th February 2017, which basically means a little bit less than a month after my home birth. This poem is called Opening Hell's Gate. No, screams the tormented while seeing Hell's Gate opening. It appears as though he is in the void and Hell's Gate is red from heat radiated. No, 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 he begs, while hearing decoyed sounds like the screaming of all his past life that's suddenly about to be destroyed. He thinks one last time of his life and wife prior letting Hell's finger be deployed. Once the gate is opened, it cannot be closed. Behind it, hell on earth has come. In an instant, to heat he is exposed. No, no, he exclaims on a string of plea. He's blinded by smoke's explosion. Then can see fire raise among the smoke. Time takes its time. It goes in slow motion. Lack of air and extreme heat makes him choke. Run, run, away, fire, fire, go! He cries while he himself refuses to go. Suddenly, the roll of flames seems to flow all around him, while the smoke seems to glow. All the demons are released from Hell's Gate. Everything burns away before his eyes. In hell, he is about to suffocate. By Hell's flame, he sees it all carbonized. He falls on his knee and screams, "No, no, no!" Following this, his hair is caught on fire. It don't matter. He hears from down below. Electric wire backlash into barbed wire. Fire comes from the roof and from the floor and from that gate which really was a door. Everything burns, even the clothes he wore. As he dies, it doesn't matter anymore. So, now for my next poem. I will move on a subject that's more relaxed. I hope you guys will enjoy it. This is a poem I wrote for another streamer that I find very cheerful. And she made this donation for Make-A-Wish association, which takes care of little kids that have terminal diseases. I personally thought that it was a great motive, and I don't know, she cheers me up all the time. Her stream account is Candyland. You can find her just by typing it. It's written with a K. Anyway, I haven't named that poem, obviously. It's a new one. In the land of the never-ending day, where the sky and the sea seem to be one, there is a princess dwelling near a bay. She takes us to look at the rising sun. There, through her golden heart, she is glowing, her compassion shining beyond the light, to lead children through darkness, growing wings to their dreams and wishes, turning them bright as the land of eternal summer day. Twilight, dawn, entwines as dreams and hopes in a chorus sing towards the gateway, forcing the wind to turn the gyroscopes. Even the lost children finding their way, following the direction of the light. She turns wishful thinking into child's play. She's both a fair princess and a white knight, her hair glowing brighter than sunshine, and her eyes are bright blue as the heaven. Her lips seems to be the horizon line, twilight and dawn leading to fair heaven. The end. So this is a very short poem. It's about being certain of our own acts. Think about it. Just think for a second. Hang on to your thought as the truth beckons more and more truth and lies in your mind. Don't forget your foundations and remind yourself of who you are and want to be. Then perhaps, under some self-made decree, you will go further than you could have gone, and you would become your own paragon. The end. So, as I keep going for poems that I wrote for people, this one is a poem I wrote for another streamer. Her name is Ekesu. She's got a very bright personality, and well, she likes to talk about intense conversation, intellectual ones, and artistic. Well, I advise you to check out her channel. It's Ekesu, spelled E-C-E-S-U. Okay. Again, this poem doesn't have a name yet, but I will give it a title sometime soon. As butterfly... I'm sorry, I'll start over. As butterflies entwines with the flowers, she appears among them like a rainbow. The enticing rise of purple water repaints the world of color like a show. Through acid and smoke she paints back the world, and the darkness is removed by colors. While, as snail, we are within ourselves curled, or as butterflies, we fly and flutter. She repaints the world she repaints the plants with newfound flowers. The psychedelic mushrooms sing in chor as they use their colorful powers. The joy amplifies her own desire. Soon, the world itself is full of colors and music, and joy swirls and twirls around. The air itself is like golden summer, as all is covered with colors and sounds. If lucky, you too will see Rainbow Lass. Then you too will wonder if she's real, or if you're looking through the looking glass at some other world seeming so surreal. The end. So now I'm going into poetry I've wrote in English. Uh, this is a poem about um, how people have a demon in themselves and how it can lead them, you know, lead their decisions. It's called My Own Demon. Just as the seconds passes, my heart pounds. I feel some kind of demon ripping through my rib cage. That is its jail, making sounds of running step like the devil's pursuit. Like the devil's pursuit. I know I should run or fight or freeze. I know I should run or fight, but I freeze. How could I ever face my own demon when my heart, my regrets, I can't appease? He makes me feel like I'm its dark prison. Sometimes it roars of hatred and anger. Sometimes it's waiting for the right moment. Then, with echoing sonorous clangor, it slashes me with vindictive torment. It makes me feel like I'm its jailer, when really it is locked in my prison. To this demon, I am its prisoner, even though this truth is beyond reason. Each pounding louder than the precedent, each beating faster than the one before, to the point of turning me irrelevant. Even as I beg for calm, I'm ignored. It's like it's waiting for my time to come. My heart is pouring blood through my thick veins. I'm overwhelmed by what I have become. No memories of my past self remains. I haven't transformed into my demon. Instead of this, I'm its favorite victim. I'm waiting for its terrible treason as I remain a screw from this system. So, the next poem is called Time is Void, and it's one of those poems that is meant to basically explain the fact that time doesn't really exist. It's just a perspective that we feel. It was written on the 3rd of March 2017, and yeah. So, time is void. A myriad of wishes go through his mind, but all wishes are out of his grasp. No magic lamp that he could ever find could grant him his wishes and make him gasp in awe before some divine miracle. Hope itself is just a lie we tell ourselves to feel like we are our own pinnacle, when in the present we should always dwell. Dreaming is as well an unconscious lie, because we never dream of things we have. We remember past as asleep we lie. Time gone is part of what we couldn't save. We should always accept that all there is the present moment and nothing more. Time is void, just as it is part of his time to come in the void, just as before. So my next poem will be about feelings and emotions. It's also a poem that I usually have a hard time reading. It was written on the 4th March 2017, so pretty close to the fire that happened in my home. The title is Feeling and Emotions, as I said, and it was originally written in English, so you may hear some semblance of rhymes and rhythms. Fears constantly in the back of my mind, like a vulture diving. Don't they dead prey? They turn around my reason just to find if my beaten reason is in decay. I wish I had the will to ignore it. Yet it's the only feeling I have left. I have emotions, but somehow they split. Their definitions victim of a death, in such way that I still feel love for kin, but that I feel like I'm a diminished version of me. Yet I have never sinned, at least not enough to be so punished. That insidious feeling turns me ashamed of being a victim of events beyond myself that even took my name, hellish events that I could not prevent. Soon, all I feel is basic emotion. There is no future, past, or present. Finding affection, sharing devotion is my only relief from my torment. As if affection was as basic as fear and the only cure from feeling wretched. It's not anymore, it's not anyone, it's the atmosphere. It leaves me numb, as if my mind was shredded. The next poem I will be reading to you is called There Are No Distance, and basically it's to show how abstract distances are, because most of us consider distances to be either meters, centimeters, or anything like that, but really it's again a form of perception. 12 March 2017. There are no distances. just as distance. What is close looks bigger, and what is far away seems to be smaller. The first will take all the space in our sight. The second is just one star in clear night. Yet, distance doesn't change the importance or severity of inadvertence. So all that's wrong comes from ignorance. Thus, we will never find deliverance. Looking too closely can blind our insight. And what's insignificant can seem huge. In some way, it can inspire contrite. In others, it can be a subterfuge. Looking from far away can diminish sizes and importance of everything. All seeing is at best something skittish, because we can't comprehend anything. We lock ourselves behind featureless walls, losing sight and insight of everything. In total panic and despair, we fall. Yet, our consciousness is locked in one thing. When anyone looks at the big picture, they lose track of what's the nature of things. They don't understand where leads the future because we can't predict anything. So, my next poem is called The Two Stories. It's about how we will be subconsciously led by either indifference and prejudice, or led by compassion and love, and how those two feelings will usually conflict against each other in our subconscious, obviously. 13 March. The two stories. There are two kinds of stories we tell our kids. Those two stories will grow in us like seeds. They will be there as we shut our eyelids. While we grow older, they'll become our creeds. In the first story, we are another, whom through genius and good deeds saves the day. It teaches us how to be together, makes us feel others' notion, as in a play. We will picture ourselves as the champion, and it will inspire us to do good. Just as him, we'll feel every sensation within ourselves. It will be our empathy's root. The second tells us to fear difference, or that if you do wrong, you'll be punished. That what's abnormal by our experience should be perceived as such and be banished. Usually, we use warning as threats. Thus, if we are told to be suspicious of strangers, it will become our mindset. By then, we will see the weird as vicious. Those two tales will conflict within ourselves, sometimes being deliberately bad, sometimes being good to prove ourselves. The unbalanced symmetry drives us mad. So now I come to my last poem. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. It's been quite a long read, actually, an hour, I suspect. And so this poem is a very special poem to me because it talks about how important it is to sometimes stand for what is right beyond what is lawful or what people expect from you or things like that. It is called The Virtue of Disobedience. 28 March. As the few takes everything and hope fades, there comes a time to question everyone. Either that or slit our vein with a blade. If most of us are reduced to no one, as if we would never have existed, or if we are used as pawns in games of life, then none of our dreams or hope will persist. If the insignificance of the strife reduces us to nothing, then why not fight? Not with stones, blades, or guns, but with our words. Not with the words of one, but with all words, so that disobedience becomes light. A light so strong it could defeat darkness, so bright it brings everyone together, and so powerful it vanquishes darkness. Once and for all, together and forever. Why would anyone be surprised by hate when hate is obviously born from despise? Why doubt when we know the shape of our state? The nature of our anger with surprise should never be taken so granted, as it is part of any living being. Many will tell us we are stranded. But disobedience is led by seeing injustice that could be avoided and should never be assumed as normal. Else law and community be voided, and hatred in a form exponential called burden or humanity, until there will be nothing left but pity. The end. So I hope you've enjoyed these poems. Those are the recollection of basically of all of the poems I read and translated before doing this one. That feels a little bit more official, even if it's not perfect. But I think this is kind of the format I'd like to do. I am thinking to publish my books and put them on Kindle or Amazon, and I am thinking about perhaps making a competition on drawings and perhaps picking a few of them if you guys would be interested. Figured I could, for example, give a free sample of the book to the winner of the competition. I'd like some of your feedback. I mean, if you guys can reach out and write me something on Discord and tell me, for example, if you think that would be a good idea. I think that would be great personally, but I mean, it's not the only idea out there. Other than that, I invite you to follow this channel if you enjoyed these readings. I am reachable through Discord, which is below here. Yeah, below here. YouTube and Instagram. I don't use much Instagram, but on YouTube you'll be able to find most of my videos. What else? Well, that's about it. If you ever feel like sharing poetry, also reach me out. I would be more than happy to have any guests. And if you would like me to read a specific poem, sometimes I do read poetry from more famous people. Please let me know too. The language barrier is not something that should stop you from reaching back to me, because, for example, if you want to read a poem that you like in a certain language, or if you have a poem that you have in another language than English, we could translate it and actually do the reading of the poem and then the translation. It's totally not a problem. I'm personally hoping to make some kind of community out of this place, and perhaps having a sort of open mic event, you know, in which we could just hang out all together, write a few poems and share. For that too, please reach out, let me know what you think. Again, my Discord is down here, and that will be it for today. I hope you have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. And thank you very much for your attention. This was, as always, very enjoyable. Well, yeah. I wish you a good day. Bye bye.